Hello everybody and welcome to the second episode of Kerbal Space Program. Today we'll be finally reaching the moon after such a long wait between episodes. I am ready. So, before we get started, I want to finish a design that I've been working on for a while. Now, I attempted to record this episode earlier, but I had some recording software problems. So during that recording, I came up with this behemoth. Basically, all that I did is I changed out the fuel tanks. I added an extra 2 thrusters, and overall, I added this little part. I added these girders and struts all over the place. Basically, this is the more refined version. This episode is gonna be 30 minutes to an hour, 30 to 60 minutes. But this one, I've at least tested before on another computer, and I know for sure that it works. Now, I am using a different computer to record this, so this is a different one from episode 1, so it will not look quite as good, and it won't run it quite as fast. But I will be able to upload videos a lot more frequently using this computer, so that is why I'm using it. So, basically, these, just to explain my design, these stages stabilize us and get us in orbit. I mean, not in orbit, get us up to orbital altitudes, and then this circularizes our orbit. Just, it has barely enough fuel to do that, and then with these will just bring us to the moon. I mean. So, in this episode, we're just gonna be landing there. What I plan on doing is landing on all the bodies, and then after I land on the last one, which will be like Elu, I'm pretty sure, then the next episode I'll be taking the one from the Mun back to Kerbin, and then the next episode I'll be taking the one from Minmus back to Kerbin, so on and so on. So I'll be landing them there, and then I'll do it reverse at the nearing the end of the series. Well, it'll be more like halfway, because I'll need to actually get them off. And now getting them off of the planets they're on can actually be the hardest part, especially when I land them on planets like Eve. Eve has a very dense atmosphere and has a lot of gravity. But another thing that I forgot to add, which is actually important, this is kind of important. I need to add some batteries right there, and more importantly, solar panels. Might as well get the biggest ones. And then this part will just be for fun, but I'm going to add a little bit of detail, like 2 little wires sticking out right there. And then let's go ahead and add this just for fun. I'm just adding this. Oh crap! I'm just adding for this. This for aesthetics. But actually, let's take this off. I don't like the look of that. I also don't like the look of those antennas. So we're just going to be basically attaching some scientific stuff. Don't need the accelerometer. Thermometer would be nice. Right there. And then we need the gravity. How heavy is this? Really light. They both weigh the same. Alright. So I'm just going to be adding some scientific modules so we can measure the amount of gravity. We can also measure the air pressure and things like that. Temperature. Just to see how accurate these analogs are to the ones in real life. I'm a science loving person, so anything else? Any last second add-ons? Anything? Those are gonna stay there. Solar panels should be fine right there. We have plenty of battery power. Alright. Well, I guess I'll save this and I'll see you guys out on the launch pad. Alright, here we are on the launch pad. Alright, just turn that on. Okay, so basically we're just gonna be coming up to, I think you already know this stuff, but yeah, that was from something else. That was from a while ago. I don't know why that's there. That's when I tested it. I probably shouldn't test stuff in the same world that I actually record this, but we're gonna be going up to 10 kilometers, and we're gonna start our gravity turn, 45 degrees at 90, and then from there we're gonna basically be burning until we get an intercept with the mun. That's it. Again, expect lower frames. I'm sorry, but this computer is the best I can use. So we got a rather slow takeoff. Alright. Okay, here we go. Building speed. Alright. Cockpit view. Just chilling. I don't know. They need to work on optimizing their game. Because, I don't know. It doesn't run very well on this computer. I'm not saying that it should run well on every computer, but, you know, this game isn't graphically impressive. I'm guessing it's straining on the CPU. Mostly and RAM because of the amount of physics that are involved in this game. That's basically the only reason people play this game, is for the physics. Like, not because the physics are good, but because, you know, gravity works and there's planets all over the place and parts, you know, there's basic aerodynamics, just stuff like that, you know. Stuff that is overall a little straining on CPUs, and this computer is like 2009, so it's not the best, but it's still working. You're still getting the image. It's not like watching this would be much better in like 30 frames per, like 60 frames per second instead of like 30 or 20, because this isn't really exciting. All right. Got Jebediah as usual, loving the ride, while Bill is, you know, looking kind of nervous. Okay, we are really close to overheating. I did not pay attention to that. That was close. I really don't want to have to relaunch this. Alright. Okay. We're still accelerating, but our heat is going down, which is good. Alright. So once we get about 10 kilometers, that's when we will start our gravity turn. And that's like, I didn't time this on purpose, but that, like, somehow, like, these rockets will, like, run out of fuel right then. Almost right then. It's more at, like, 11. But it's better. This thing's heavier, so it would probably be better if we start our gravity turn a little bit higher. So we're coming up on that, 2 kilometers away. Everything's fine. And it's nighttime. There's the Milky Way, I'm guessing. And there's the moon. Alright. Let's accelerate. And hopefully we'll run out of fuel before stuff starts overheating. Can only hope. Doesn't look like we are, so let's back off a little bit on the throttle. Okay. Well, actually, yeah, we didn't run out as soon as I thought I would. But no matter. We are now at our gravity turn. We can burn a little stronger, a little hotter, and probably be okay if these things overheated, because we're just going to be dropping these fuel tanks. So we want the maximum amount of delta V we can get out of them before they go bye-bye. So 3, and they're going to overheat. Oh, yep. Oh, they ran out of fuel right before they overheat. Alright, disconnect. Stuff smashes together. But we prevail with our 2-stage thing right here. I don't know. Does this count as? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the parachutes count as a stage. Whatever, I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright. Alright. So, we just want to watch this and make sure it gets to about 100. 105, 110. That's where I like my apoapsis is at. Gives me a good, you know, wide area between me and the atmosphere. Okay. So, seems like I wasn't paying attention and something overheated. It's probably the engine. And considering this doesn't have enough thrust to actually get into space. Oh, maybe it does. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last episode. Alright. You guys have seen me land this thing before. I'll be safe. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. But just make sure to... Well, no, I don't know. Alright, I'll be right back. I'll be on the launch pad again. Alright, we're back, guys. Sorry, I just decided that we're just gonna resume where stuff went wrong. So, don't worry, nobody died. I don't know why I have Bob and Sid Rod, though. I think it's because I ended the flight, so... You know, just generator just kicks out random names. So, you know. I didn't cheat. I promise. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. And we went up way too high there. I should have started my gravity turn sooner than that. Oh well. This thing's pretty big, so it could actually probably use that. Alright. Alright, so now we're just gonna start our turn. Get this to 100-ish. And then land on the moon and make sure that... Okay, I'm not overheating. Let's make sure that we don't overheat. That'd be bad. Oh. Let's go ahead and activate... Let's just take these down there. And so we can get some extra thrust. Because we don't need all the fuel we have in here, because we're only going to the moon. The moon, same thing. You know, I'm going to call it the moon because it is a moon. So. Alright. Full throttle. Maybe not. Okay, 106 is good. 109, let's even that out a little bit. 110, good. And then right here, that's a nice shot. Alright, and then right here, right there, we're going to set maneuver node, and right there. Perhaps this 107, 160, that's not good. Take that down. 102, 127. Speed move up, not like that. Dang it. Even it out, there we go. Maybe if I move it, 110, 119, 119, 110. Seems like that's where that's all we can get. All right, RCS. Let's try not to use it up. I always get worried that I'm gonna run out of RCS and then be stranded in space. Thankfully, this thing doesn't need a dock, so. And nuclear engines have like thrust vectoring or something like that, so they should be able to steer us back. Like steer us, but we're just gonna have to use thrust then. Alright. Turn off RCS. I'm gonna time warp to the node. Once it gets down to 10 seconds. Or we're gonna start our burn 5 seconds, or 3 seconds to it. There we go. So we are at maximum power when we hit the node. I usually do this with my nodes. Just to be safe, because I don't want to be behind. Because being stuck in space really sucks. So, okay, we're overheating quite a bit. I think I'm gonna risk it though. Yeah. And then from here, we're gonna have to burn a little bit longer than I wanted to. Please don't. I really don't want it to end up like the last episode, in which I failed, and I really don't want to fail again. Those are looking really hot, but thankfully not. Right. RCS. I'm gonna turn on RCS. This should give us a little bit of a boost. Just using everything. Everything. I think we could have made it more easily if I wouldn't have burned like to 15 kilometers and then started my gravity turn. That wasted a lot of fuel in which I could have started on the trajectory. but it did let us get to a nice apoapsis. I'm at 102 kilometers. Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still quite a ways, 30 kilometers, 30-ish kilometers out of the atmosphere. So, gonna want to keep this on 20 seconds. We have plenty of time. We're gonna make it. We're not even going down. Well, okay, now we're going down a little bit faster, but still. About 15 seconds left. We're still far above the atmosphere, so we won't be slowing down. Still burning away a lot of our RCS. Once it gets down to 5 seconds, I'm just gonna go ahead and let it do its own thing with the main engines. 3, 2, 1, and we got ourselves in orbit. Yeah, there we go. 68 and 165. That's not very good. We're gonna be dipping down in the atmosphere. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and along the vector thing. And once we get to 69 and a half, then I'll be fine. It doesn't need to be a perfect orbit. Really, you don't need a perfect orbit for anything in this game. Well, yeah, you do, but let's just get up to 70. I have fuel to spare. Alright. We're out of the atmosphere for good now. Or for until we come back. You don't really need that much of a circular orbit, sorry, to actually get to the moon. It's really easy. Okay, so to get to the moon, you just put your moon right side of your screen, 45 degrees, and just pull this out. I forgot what it's called, I'm sorry. But it's a little thingy that looks like this. Not like I'm doing a tutorial here, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. I want to get into orbit around the moon since we have plenty of fuel. And 33 kilometers is good. And then we're just going to turn to the node. I'm just going to pop out my landing gear for lulz. Alright. That was fun. That was exciting. Look at the fear on Skid Rod's face. He's just like so amazed. Alright. Speed it up. Oh, alright. It's right there because we were still going down past 70. So did this change? 69? Yeah, it's at 69 now instead. I was scared that we were actually going down in the atmosphere. Thankfully we're not. Alright, now that we're actually exposed to the sun, let's go ahead and extend these solar panels. And we're in space too, so that helps. Alright. And then we're just gonna time warp till we get to the destination. Right there is good, 30 seconds, so I can still adjust, make a few minor corrections. And there we go. And where's the sun? Where is it? Oh, it's up. It's right above us, so our solar panels can't even get, like, direct sunlight. Well, that says direct, but that doesn't. Blocked by fuel tanks, of course. Alright, so this majestic craft shall start its burn in about 15 seconds, and I'm gonna start again well, this time 5 seconds early. Oh, okay, we're almost out of fuel in those actually, so I need to quickly put some fuel in there in 10 seconds. Yeah, we're not gonna have 10 seconds, so I'll just get rid of this node. No, I can leave the node there. Yeah, it's there. Well, no, I'll just get rid of it. I don't like it. Ah! OCD. Alright. Still haven't transferred all the fuel over. Alright. Now, this is going to be a little annoying on long voyages when we have to refuel these several times, but I still have faith in this design. Oh, poop. I say that as it malfunctions. Right. Hurry up. Wish there was a way to make this a little faster. If there is, I wish I knew. Filling up the fuel tanks. Alright. Almost there. So it seems like on longer voyages we're gonna have to exchange this one for maybe another one of these, because we might, because this only holds 360 right here. This holds 720. So yes, right here. Just extend that, and we should get another. Yep, right there. The Mun is very easy to get a periapse with. Or, I mean, an encounter. Why do I always say periapse? But that's probably because of what it says right there. Alright. 32. Just what I wanted. Keep that on. And then we're just going to time accelerate to the destination. What's that? Oh, it's a piece of our debris, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's probably. What is that? Actually. Oh, no, I don't know what it is. Okay, UFO. It was flying and it was unidentified, so, yes. I'm gonna swing around, speeding up. And... oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Bam. See Kerbal below us. Catching the rays of the sun. Alright, we have 3 minutes to burn. 3 minutes to node. Duh. Still freaking out. Been in here for 58 hours. Or is that minutes? I'm guessing that's minutes. That make more sense. Because, yeah, wouldn't it say... yeah, it would say days. So that's minutes. So we're going to speed up again. Oh, poop. We just went over the node. But we will be able to make it because the moon does have a rather large sphere of influence, or SOI, as I will be referring to it later in this series. Referring to it as SOI, I mean. Basically... the moon is like the, well, yeah, it's, in my opinion, it's the easiest. People say Minmus, but I don't like Minmus, landing on Minmus very much because it's like that. Which makes it really hard to land on if you're not a very experienced pilot like me. While the moon is like almost right at the equator. It's a little tilted, but again, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big moon. So, it's like a quarter of the size of Kerbal, so yeah, it's pretty hard to miss. Besides, if I don't make it to it, then I'll just orbit again and then create a new trajectory, or just call this episode a failure. So why won't these things go away? Alright, whatever. Guess we'll just leave that. Oh, that's why. I don't care about oxidizer. No. There we go. Alright. We should be near... yeah, that's gonna start to climb a lot more in a few seconds. 30 seconds left. And let's give it a little bit of an RCS boost. Down to about 20. Alright. And at 10, I will stop giving it the RCS boost of awesome attempt. Alright, 8 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you shouldn't trust these nodes too much because they're not always right. They only tell you what it could be. Alright, so we're gonna actually land. Which is alright. I will land. Yeah. That's okay. We don't need to orbit. We don't need to. I wanted to do it just to show how awesome I was, but I guess I can't do that. So it'll just be harder to show you. I'm not gonna put up that much of a fight just to show you that I can get in orbit around another planet besides Kerbal. And I'm going to do it because you don't really need to worry about that when you're landing on things, celestial bodies that don't have atmospheres. Mainly because you can just basically come down like at a straight trajectory going in like half a kilometer a second and nothing will go wrong. The only problem with that on atmospheric planets is you don't want to eventually they're gonna add re-entry like consequences. I don't say effects because the effects have already been added, but basically you'll be coming down too fast and you'll actually probably slam into the landscape beside, it's better just to orbit around things that are harder to land on, like Juno or Eve. So just going to speed up and kill. This is gonna be pretty slow. There we go. And there's our encounter right here. And we're gonna come in, and stop. We're at 403 kilometers. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Alright, we're facing directly towards it. Alright, we're gonna wanna close these up. Okay, go away. Please, go away. Thank you. We're gonna close these up because we do not want them to hit anything when we land. We'll open them up when we land though. Then we're gonna go ahead and turn ourselves around with torque and I don't know, magic stuff like that, and RCS, which actually does most of the heavy lifting, turning. Yeah. Alright. We don't need to slow down yet because you don't want to be coming in too slow, otherwise it's gonna take forever. So where are we gonna land? I hope we don't land on anything bumpy. And then at about 50 kilometers, I'm gonna start. Yep, right here. Slow down. Because we were speeding up. So we're just gonna slow down 50 kilometers up. And that should bring our speed down to about 200 meters per second, which is where I want it. Turn on the RCS. Slow us down even more. So I don't want anything overheating, being on too long. That's the only problem I found with having these closer together, is they have a tendency to heat up. I don't know. That's just what I found playing this game. If you have a bunch of engines in close proximity, then they will heat up a lot faster. So we're gonna get down to about. I should have put lights on this. That reminds me. I should. I will eventually. Remember, this is still in like the prototype phase, but this it doesn't matter. We're landing on the moon. We don't need something perfect to just be landing on this little rock. Plenty of monopropellant, plenty of fuel left in everything to get back like 3 times over, and we have maximum electric power because none of our scientific modules are on. Just gonna rotate ourselves a little bit. Get down to about 150 meters per second just to be safe. Really don't want it to crash, because remember I can't use quick saves. And once we get down to about 10 kilometers, I'll deploy the landing gear. And we're just going to cut the power right there. And we're going to speed up a little bit. We're just going to speed up to about 10 kilometers. There we are. And then we're just going to press the button and deploy the landing gear. And then we're going to try to slow down a lot, because we're coming in pretty fast. We will be able to slow down though, I promise. Right. Okay, we're getting the safe zone below 100. We want below 10 meters per second is what we want it at. we don't want 10 meters per second right now, otherwise it's going to take ages to get down there. We want to keep it below 100. So I'm going to keep the engines on just a little bit, just gradually slow us down. And that's actually pretty inefficient, so let's just do one more burn, and then we are good. Alright, this is a good landing so far. It's nice and slow. I think we might have picked a okay spot. Nothing really interesting here except that massive crater right there. I can't see anything, that's the only problem. Messing around in here. Alright. Let's not die. Alright. And then do another burn. Get down to 30 again. Really, I'm being a little bit too careful, but... Well, no, you can never be too careful in a Perma-death series, so actually, no, I'm not being too careful. Okay. I see the ground. You can hear my chair squeaking as I scooted forward. And... here... Oh, crap, I think we're going to be landing on bumpy terrain. I do not want this to flip over or anything to hit. Do not want to lose an engine. I do not want to send out a rescue party. I think we're landing in like one of those Sea of Tranquility or whatever it's called. Alright, where are we? Yeah, we don't need to be going that slow. Okay, it actually kind of looks flattish the closer I get. Why is my craft, like my spacecraft, like a little bit illuminated? That's what I don't get. Man, I really can't see anything. I don't like this. Oh well, I'm just gonna keep it below 8 meters per second when we're landing. Or, okay, we're going too slow. Alright, there's the ground. I know where the ground is. Oh, we're just hovering there. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. No, 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 turn off the engines. Alright, we landed. Nothing's broken. Turn off SAS. Okay, but we flipped over. It's not good. What's the button to press? N? Nope, that's M. K? K is the button. Oh, frick. K. Oh, almost. Well, let's try not to mess it up. Let's try not to mess with it. Well, we actually landed on the moon, but I tipped over, so I'm gonna have to redesign this landing gear, because this is like... The last time I tested it, the same thing happened. I flipped over, and actually one of the engines broke last time. So, now that we're here, I'm gonna time accelerate, so it's actually daytime, so we can kind of see where we are. There we go. Sun's rising. Alright, where are we? We just landed in a big spot in the middle of nowhere on the moon. Not even one of the craters or little craters or any of the canyons. We just landed like in the middle of nowhere on the darker spot. Alright, that's okay. Can we get up? No. Wait, we're lifting up a little bit. Well, I don't think we have enough thrust from no, don't break. Don't break. Alright. Do it one more time. Push. Okay, K. Press K. Press K. Freak. Okay, one more time. Alright. Hold K and go. I can't make it. Maybe if I can take off. Oh, that's not a good idea. Maybe can I... get myself up to a trajectory and then just take off from there. I'm gonna try that. Alright. This is very bad idea. Very bad idea. Don't do it. But I have to, so. Oh, are we actually lifting up? And then. Oh, turn off the engines. Oh, frick. Oh, crap, our parachute came off. Oh, and our SAS. And. Crap. Bad idea. Like I said, shouldn't have done it. Parachute came off. And SAS. And RCS. Question is, how are we going to get off? So I'm going to actually do this again. I'm going to try this again. So, might as well do it now instead of doing it later. Oh. 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 We did it. We actually made it. Just turn off the RCS. I have no SAS now. So this entire flight is going to be completely manual now. No computers. Can't use SAS at all. All we have is RCS. But now that we finally came here and we're finally upright and we lost half of our power generator thing, let's go ahead and extend this panel. I've only been here for about half a day. Let's go ahead and get Bob out, and so we can explore the lunar surface and let this be a no, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. Let's just mess it up. Oh, an RCS thing came off too. I hope that's not gonna give us balance issues. Okay. So there we go. We actually landed on our first actual moon, planet thing. You know, asteroid, whatever. We landed on the moon. I'm basically saying this is our first actual landing. It's pretty cool. We've actually landed on something else besides Kerbal. So, as Bob smiles and looks off in a sunrise, I will end this episode. So, thank you all for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I can't wait to record another episode. See you guys next time. Hi guys, I just remembered. I forgot to check. Actually, use a scientific measurement things, because that's like one of the only reasons why I'm actually landing on all these planets, because I just want to gather a lot of scientific information from. What the heck are you doing, Bob? I just had like a seizure midair and fell. I just want to gather scientific info from all these different planets and moons. And why are you falling again? Alright, so if we can get Bob up in the actual cabin, maybe I can actually see myself how much gravity this produces. Alright, we've actually grabbed on now, finally. Boarding, here we go. Now, while we're here actually, let's go ahead and refuel these with what fuel, with what fuel we have left. Alright. There we go. I'm gonna have to use this and like that. Alright, that should give us just enough to get home. Actually, now that I think about it. Because we actually have a lot more thrusters than I remember. So okay. Just give me a second. I just want to get this refueling thing done actually now that I think about it, so we don't have to do it when we're bringing these guys back in like a long time. Out. Plus this will displace the weight a little bit better instead of it all being like directly at the bottom. I know that's good for rockets, but when the thrust is out towards the side a little bit, I kind of want it more balanced. I don't want it tipping over. So I don't really know anything about balance, so I know a little bit, but not enough. Okay, so with our one solar panel charging everything, let's go ahead and turn on the gravity thingy. See how much gravity. Right. So it has 1.61 meters per second raised. I'm pretty sure that's raised like squared. I don't know. I'm not very good at math. And accelerometer Ooh, 16, 0.16 G's. Barometer. In a vacuum! Alright. Thermometer. Okay, so is that Kelvin? Is that Celsius? Is that Fahrenheit? Nobody knows. I'm guessing it's Celsius. But with just a little over 1/10 the gravity of Kerbin, because last time I checked, Kerbin's gravity was 10 meters per second squared, or caret thing squared thingy. So that was nice information. So sorry about that extra little bit. I forgot about that. Sorry for forgetting about it. Alright, thanks guys for watching again, and I'll actually say goodbye this time, so see ya.